My name is Allison, and I'm a former home-based baker turned retail bakery shop owner. And it wasn't that long ago when I was running my bakeries that I was finding myself getting overstressed and overworked while trying to work in my business and at the same time work on my business. So I found ways to save time, save money, and have more freedom. And I'm here to share those tips with you so that you can grow your side hustle into the baking business of your dreams.
Hey everyone, welcome to Hot Topics Live. It's 2 p.m. Central, and you guys know what that means. It's time to take 15 minutes out of your busy day to learn about the business side of running your home-based bakery. And I just want to say an extra thank you to everyone for your patience while I was out sick last week. I'm feeling so much better this week, and I literally could not even lift my head off the pillow to check in with you all and let you know that there wouldn't be a Hot Topics Live. So in the span of almost 2 years since I've been doing these Hot Topic Lives, I think that might be the only one that I've actually missed due to illness. So happy to be back, and thank you all for being here. Whether you're watching live inside the Facebook group, jump into the comments and say hey. And then if you're watching over on YouTube, welcome to the Hot Topics Live broadcast. And be sure and subscribe so that you get notified whenever I jump on these lives and talk about bakery business topics. So today we're going to be talking about the psychology of pricing your home baked goods. And I was triggered. I was literally triggered by a post that I saw in another Facebook group, which I wish I had screenshotted. I didn't at the time, but it said, I feel so bad for this baker. It's a picture of some cookies that she was going to be selling at an event this weekend. And it was a simple post. It basically said, hey everyone, I'm new at this. Does $4 seem fair for these cookies? And I think she might have gone on to say, I'm just trying to make sure that I cover my costs, and I want to make sure that this feels fair. And that is what triggered me to go ahead and film or do this Hot Topics Live today on the topic of the psychology behind pricing your baked goods, because the word in there that actually got me was fair. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with the balancing act between pricing what you feel like you need to price things at to cover all your costs, and then the price that is not going to annoy, irritate, and send your customers screaming over to a different baker. That is a real challenge. It's so difficult to find the right balance between we are doing this to make money and also not feeling like we're trying to take advantage of our customers by charging too much, which in this economy is a very tricky balancing act. So we're going to have a little conversation today about the psychology element of pricing your home baked goods. But before we get to the end of today's training, I'm going to tell you guys this up front, because I don't want you to miss it in case you can't stay for the full 15 minutes. I am announcing another pricing workshop. So this workshop is my first pricing workshop of 2023. I do these often. They're always super popular. There's a limit to how many Zoom guests can show up for this. So this is an RSVP. I'm calling it the Craft to Cash pricing workshop. And if throughout the course of today's Hot Topics Live, you feel like, I think I need to learn a little bit more about some of these profit strategies that Allison's talking about, then scroll up in this recording, look at the description for this video, and you'll see the link to RSVP for the Craft to Cash workshop, which is taking place next Monday. That's the 20th of February at 11 a.m. Central Time. Now, I know that's a weird time, and because I'm in the UK right now, that's the only time that I can find to do it. That might work for both, but I promise you that this workshop will be recorded. I'm going to share with you my 5-step strategy for pricing your baked goods so that you earn a profit and you can pay yourself from this baking craft / business that you're trying to grow. So this is a super popular workshop. Again, the link is up in the description of the video. Snag your seat now. You'll get a replay link if you can't make that time. It'll be recorded. You'll get a replay link, but you have to RSVP for the workshop to get the link to go out to you. I always get questions about whether these get recorded. So this will be recorded. It'll be uploaded right away, and the replay link will go out the following day. So now I know that this live is coming out the day before Valentine's Day, so you might be busy packaging and listening to me, frosting and listening to me. So whatever you're doing right now, getting ready for your sales, thank you for being here. And let's talk about the psychology of pricing your baked goods. So why was that post so triggering? The post that says, does $4 seem fair for this cookie that she was selling, which by the way was adorable. And I thought, no, $4 doesn't seem like enough in my book. It was super cute. It was like an oatmeal cream sandwich. And it was in a cellophane bag with a cute logo sticker on it. And it was absolutely adorable. So what was the psychology going on there behind that post? Does $4 seem fair for this cookie? So I'm going to try to, there we go, share my screen. Look at my technology skills are just getting better and better. Share my screen here. And this is actually a snippet from a training that I did about a year ago. And what we're going to talk about are these 3 pillars of pricing your home baked goods. Specifically today, we're talking about this psychology part. Like, why is that such a big deal when we're talking about pricing our baked goods? In that workshop that I mentioned, though, we're going to talk about the rest of it, how to take into account your competition, and then how to price accurately. Those are the 3 pillars of pricing your baked goods. But for today, in this short amount of time that we have together, let's talk about the psychology of pricing your baked goods. So do you ever find yourself thinking, like, am I worth it? Am I worth charging this much? Do I have that skill level yet? Are other bakers with more experience that are better than me worth more? If you feel like you're questioning your worth when it comes to pricing your baked goods, then that should be a sign that there's some psychology issues going on with your pricing. Are you worried that you're charging too much? I think so many people are feeling that right now. Am I charging too much? Well, when you're pricing your baked goods accurately, that's that 3rd pillar that I just showed you, then you shouldn't worry if you're charging too much, because you know exactly how much you need to charge to make a profit. But that feeling like, am I charging too much, might be a little bit more of the psychology, the mindset issues of pricing, and not so much the actual data, the numbers that show you how much you should charge. So we're looking for these kind of clues that say maybe we've got some psychology issues going on here with what we're willing to ask for, or what we're comfortable asking for with our prices. And then, of course, it's wondering if your stuff is good enough. And I feel like that quote that I started out with, where the baker said, does $4 seem fair? I think she might have been also wondering if her stuff was good enough because of that word fair. Does this seem fair? And so these are the type of psychological pricing issues that could come up. So let me know in the comments, have you ever thought about these things when you're pricing? And if so, which one? Am I worth it? Am I charging too much? Or is my stuff good enough? So if you notice yourself thinking these thoughts, that's completely normal. It's an element of pricing. But we want to be careful not to let that be all of how we figure out our pricing. So let's talk about these kind of psychology mistakes when you're pricing your baked goods. So the first one is when you're pricing your baked goods from your own perspective. And that would be Like when you feel like it's easy for me to make these cookies. I know someone in the Bake Better Academy recently posted a dozen chocolate chip cookies going out for the Super Bowl. Now, if I were hosting a Super Bowl party, it would not take me long at all to whip up a platter of a dozen cookies that I could put out for my guests who are coming over for the Super Bowl. But for somebody who has a bunch of other stuff going on, they've got other errands to run, they're having people over, there's a lot going on and they're busy. For them to stop and make a platter of a dozen cookies is a much bigger deal. Then they've got to clean up their kitchen, and just all of the stuff that comes with it. Shop for ingredients, take the time out to prepare the cookies, everything that goes into it. So for that buyer who wanted to order the cookies for the Super Bowl party, it really would have been an incredible convenience to buy a platter of pre-made cookies. So when you think to yourself, oh, I don't know, these shouldn't really be that much, they're so easy to make, that's you pricing from your own perspective. But if you think about the value that you provide for the person who's buying your cookies, you're providing an incredible value for them because of what they don't have to do in order to have a beautiful platter of your delicious chocolate chip cookies out as a snack at the Super Bowl party. So don't fall into that pitfall, that trap of pricing from your own perspective. Next, beware of pricing with your own budget in mind. So remember the post that I read about, does $4 seem fair for these cookies? That could be pricing with your own budget in mind. Well, would I pay $4 for it? Maybe. What do you guys think? Does $4 seem fair for these cookies? So pricing with your own budget in mind is thinking about that product that you're selling with the value as it relates to your own wallet. Like, I don't personally spend a lot on dining out. My dining out budget is pretty small. I actually value dinners at home a whole lot more. So I don't spend a lot at restaurants, and therefore I might look at a dinner out and say, that's out of my price point. But to somebody else with a different budget who says, I put, several $100s in my dining out budget each month because I don't want to dirty my kitchen. I want the quality time with my significant other and my family. They actually do have a budget for dining out or for spending on prepared food. To them, that's not overpriced. So thinking about your own budget in terms of setting your prices can be a pitfall because you're not selling your items to you. You're selling your items to someone else with a completely different budget. So try to remove that mentality that compares your prices to your own budget because you're not your customer. Your customer's budget is different than yours. And then finally, the third element is allowing your self-worth to affect your prices. And I feel like this one really comes into play for newer bakers who don't have that confidence of repeat sales yet. And remember, confidence comes from repetition. The more you do things, then the more confident you become at it. So in the very beginning, if you're hosting your first, if you're doing your first farmer's market and you have all kinds of questions and all kinds of doubts, that's where your self-worth is going to be low and your confidence is going to be low because you just don't have the experience yet to give you the confidence. So are you pricing your stuff low because you lack experience? Well, your products might be just as expensive. Your ingredients might be just as expensive to buy as the person with a higher confidence level, as the person with a lot of experience. But you're saying, because I'm doing this for the first time, I need to lower my prices. I'm going to challenge you to say, no, you don't need to sell your stuff for a lower price just because you're new at this. So allowing your self-worth, maybe your experience level or your confidence to affect your prices can also be one of those psychological pitfalls, a psychological pricing mistake that you can make or that you might make. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg when we talk about the 3 pillars of pricing your baked goods. We talked a little bit about the psychology of it, but the competition-based pricing is where we get into some real fine-tuning of your pricing and your price point, the price point that's perfect for you. And then, of course, that accuracy element, which we're going to be talking all about in that Craft Cash pricing workshop that's coming up on February 20th. The link to RSVP for that is up in the description. So now I'm curious which one of those pricing, psychology pricing pitfalls you are guilty of. I will admit that I have been guilty in the past of pricing with my own budget in mind. Just because I don't have the budget or necessarily put my money in the budget for dining out, it doesn't mean that other people wouldn't be willing to pay the price that I feel like I should charge for my baked goods. So that's mine. Well, I'm curious, what's yours? What is your psychology pitfall that you've fallen into in the past when it comes to pricing? So now 2023 is upon us. The economy is a roller coaster right now, and this pricing workshop that's coming up is a great way to say, hey, I'm not going to go through 2023 without making a profit on my baked goods. I really want to get ahead of it when it comes to pricing. This is the opportunity. This is the conversation that I want to open up and invite you to have. So let me know in the comments what your pricing challenges are, and be sure to RSVP for that workshop. I would love to see you there. We're going to go deeper into this subject and a whole lot more over in that workshop. So for today, that's our 15 minutes, Hot Topics Live. That's a wrap for this week. And I can't wait to see you guys next week, same time, same place. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.